Good morning, everyone. Hope you're having a wonderful day and you're ready for another episode in our Prepare for Launch series for Ni no Kuni Crossworlds. We're almost there, and I think I covered most of the crucial aspects of the game that's good to know for launch. I recommend checking out all my guides if you haven't yet, but it's time to discuss our day one schedule and what I recommend doing on your first days as soon as possible, or at least what I'll do personally. Today, I'll be doing another Q&A live stream on my Twitch for another 4 or 5 hours, so if you missed it yesterday, come by and say hello or ask a few questions that are still left unanswered. And we're gonna enjoy some early game together. Before we start, I'd like to say that it's fine to take your time and just enjoy the story in your own pace. In the end, we're talking about a few days in a game where it's all about the long-term progression, and a day or two doesn't really make that big of a difference. With that said, this video will be about what I recommend doing as soon as possible in order to maximize efficiency and unlock all the content that you should be doing on a daily basis and stay ahead of the pack. Even if you don't rush, there's a couple of things I'll explain that will be useful to know. Good news is that if you decide to rush, this will really only take 3 or 4 hours according to my personal tests, and it's fairly doable for most people, I think, with a little bit of a push depending on your limited free time. And you can always watch the main story and cutscenes on your other characters, if that's something you're okay with. Now, I already mentioned in a previous video that Ni no Kuni is not really your typical game with gacha where you get showered in early premium currency to give you a few multi-gacha summons that usually allow re-rolling. In fact, to even get to a point that it's worth pulling, which is around 4 or 5 tickets, it takes around 2 hours of playing the game while skipping everything and knowing exactly what to do. Basically, speedrunning. So with that said, I don't think rerolling is something anyone should bother with. Additionally, if the sponsored streams are of any indication, we will likely get a beginner's banner with a limited selection of familiars that can be rolled in-game 10 times to get your desired starting familiars. This banner is limited and you can only choose from 3 4-star familiars, and they can't be rare. So this is also not really worth rerolling for in case you think about it. Just get the one you prefer. Since Ni no Kuni also has auto navigation as a feature, the good news is that even if you haven't had the chance to try the already existing Asian servers, if you really want to rush the content, you can just use the auto navigation without having to memorize any route, so progressing fast is going to be really easy. I already said to take it easy and choose your own pace, but let's talk about why it's also good to rush a bit at the start. The game will have many daily activities that, yes, if you unlock them later, you do stack them up, I believe, retroactively. So the game tracks your tickets even if you don't have access to them. But then what is really the reason to push? Since Ni no Kuni is an MMORPG, you have probably experienced at least one launch before. But even if you haven't, it's quite commonly known that launches are usually a mess and become so overly crowded that some aspects of the game become a pain in the ass. Because Ni no Kuni also has lots of killing and open world quests and farming, being in a crowded environment will possibly slow you down a lot, and in later zones even expose you to more potential PKing, which means player killing or other players attacking you. This is especially going to be relevant in chaos dungeons where you'll mostly farm in the evenings while you're sleeping, and the less people there are in the area to annoy your AFK character, the better. I think we can agree to that. Apart from avoiding the crowd, there's also additional content such as kingdom events, PvP, field bosses that are not daily activities but timed events you can participate in, and the sooner you unlock them, the sooner you can acquire some actual advantages. For example, if you unlock field bosses on day 1 before their spawn, you can participate in the first battle against them, you get a chance to acquire their accessory, which is at least 4,000 character power. Now that might not seem much at the beginning, but it will make a massive difference since it's one additional equipment slot that you can't get otherwise. To get into more specifics, first of all, I recommend leveling one character all the way to at least level 30 without bothering with any of the others, but preferably even to level 35. I'll talk about why 35 is the magic number, but the reason I say 30 is also a good idea is that until level 30 you can manage to level up a character without spending anything major on updates or wasting resources. So you just have to enjoy the story and the game while making sure you equip the best things you unlocked. Another reason I recommend level 30 for the first stop is that level 20 is the first milestone for each class to unlock plus 25 backpack slots each for your whole account. And if your highest level character is 10 levels above your alts, you get a massive experience boost. Meaning, If your first character you just rush to level 30, you'll have the perfect opportunity to try all the other characters until level 20 and decide who you're going to main, while also actively progressing your account at the same time. So even if you haven't decided what character you'll want to focus on, this is possibly the best scenario how you should be testing them all and decide. And as I said, with a bit of luck and just making sure you do all the things I recommended in my tips and mistakes videos, you'll be able to do all of this without any investment yet into any of the classes. You also don't have to worry about tutorials or if you're going to understand everything that's going on. Someone asked me yesterday how much time it's going to be to get used to the game, and I can honestly say that the tutorial system in the game is amazing. All the explanations and illustrations of the mechanics are simple, and you'll just naturally understand everything. In fact, all these tutorials will be mandatory missions you'll have to complete, and all of them even teach you in practice on how they work. With that said, the magic number that gets thrown around a lot is 35, but I actually would like to modify it to 38. It is level 38 that I believe you should reach on day 1 or as soon as you can, as that level is the final level for unlocking all the crucial content that you can do every day in Ni no Kuni. You'll unlock the final daily training missions that's time sensitive on level 35, which is the pirate money missions. The reason these are the most important is that you can only do them once a day and they do not stack if you miss them. And level 38 will unlock you the first 50 player world boss, which is important to get the accessories I mentioned you can't get from anywhere else. If you don't have the time for this, which is totally fine, I recommend everyone to at least reach level 20 on day 1 to unlock kingdoms or guilds. The reason for this is, as I mentioned in yesterday's video, to unlock the special kingdom shop for yourself that rewards you with massive bonus experience and upgrade materials limited to a few times per day. Additionally, if you're part of a bigger kingdom already, it will be crucial for kingdom progression to have as many members join you immediately and start donating money and crystals to level up your kingdom and expand your maximum member slots. Unlocking all these activities will give you additional chances on getting valuable random rewards and help you along with progressing the main story without bumping into roadblocks that force you to grind. So, we know what we should do, and we also have an idea why we should do all this, right? So it's time to discuss how we should do it. We already established, since probably no one really knows the route or what to do in quests, the fastest way to progress will be to use the auto navigation for quests, right? The second greatest benefit you can possibly have is already knowing which character is going to be your main. The reason is that, as I mentioned, it really isn't required to do any upgrades while leveling, and it's even recommended to save up resources for when you get something more rare, such as a 3-star or hopefully a 4-star item or familiar. The best way to ensure that this is possible is by spending your free tickets for familiars and equipment and your crafting materials as soon as you get them while leveling. And that is only worth it if you know 100% which class you want to get invested in. This will help you as each of these summons and crafts will give you a chance to gain a 3 or even 4-star property, which is possibly the biggest boost you can get at the start. The difference between 1-star and a 4-star, I believe, is like 10,000 power immediately. Each unique item or familiar also gets unlocked in your codex, which is also bonus power increase. If you manage to get lucky, even with a 3-star, it will basically guarantee you progress through the main story without having to spend any upgrades, allowing you to save them for later or just use them straight on your 4-star if you got lucky already. But there are other options too in case you'll be unlucky and you won't get anything rare. In that case, the best thing you can do is to just use duplicates you acquire to awaken your currently used equipment. Each awakening process at the start will be 100% success, and they give a huge chunk of power boost to your items. And since you'll have to do this anyway for your codex progression, and doing so doesn't really waste anything valuable aside from some gold, it's a win-win way of increasing your power. In the worst case, I also recommend using your 1-star familiar and equipment upgrades, as they are really tiny amounts of experience, but they still level up your starting 1-star stuff fairly fast. This will not be considered as much of a waste and will also help you push further. But I would say do not use 2 or 3-star upgrade materials on your low-ranking items. Those are already quite valuable for the start. You can also bag in a couple of thousands of power by making sure you pick up the 3 regional chests and sightseeing stones that spawn in every area, as I believe picking them up all is at least around 1,500 power, which is nothing to scoff at the beginning. Another great tip for the beginning has already been mentioned in the mistakes video, but remember to not waste your daily assignments and even your kingdom experience purchase the moment you unlock them. They are one of the highest amount of experience rewards you can get every day, and you should save them for the very end of the first day or when you are stuck to maximize progressing as far as you can, as the experience that you buy scales with your maximum character level. And finally, don't even bother with making elemental sets with familiars and weapons at the start. You're not ready for it yet. Just equip the highest power of everything possible and make sure you use a weapon that's counter to the element you're fighting for that 50% damage boost. Elemental builds are something for much later, and you should only focus on having as much power as possible. I also have a bonus part in this video today to talk about something sensitive for people, but I really think it's important. I know a lot of people are going to be free to play, and also a lot of people are going to be against microtransactions. I get it, I understand, hell, I even agree. But the game will have microtransactions whether you like it or not, and there will be potentially limited early banners the game offers, and I'd like to talk about them a little bit. I'd like to point out that these banners are in Asian servers and are not guaranteed to be in global. This is more of an education in case they will be part of it. These banners will be somewhat predatory and trigger fear of missing out, being available only for a few hours and encouraging you to buy them. What's important about them is that while they use predatory techniques, some of them are total scams, but some of them are actually valuable based on standard gacha prizes, and it's important to be able to identify them. I'll show a few examples. The first banner is, as you can see, gives you 10 familiar tickets and 3 3-star familiar upgrade pods for the price of $5. All you have to do is compare it to that 10 pulls cost $25 normally. So this is potentially a good deal. Not a must buy, but still a good deal. The second banner, on the other hand, offers 5 equipment tickets, 100 diamonds, and a few 3-star upgrades for water element. This one only offers you 6 pulls potentially, and those upgrade materials are something you can get in no time. Its worth is technically already half of the upper banner, yet it costs the same. This is a bad deal. I hope you're catching on what I mean. Next comparison is for gummies. This is a $10 limited banner and offers you 10 familiar tickets and 5 of each gummies with a bit of gold, and I don't see what kind of currency it's there. The tickets are worth $25 in standard gacha, and those 15 gummies according to the store are worth 450 diamonds. If we calculate, that's around $37 worth, so only 50% increase compared to the previous $5 banner, but its price doubled to $10. This is overall not a bad deal, but I already wouldn't go for it. On the other hand, there's also another gummy deal that will offer 10 of each gummies with additional familiar upgrade items for around $20. We already established that 15 gummies are around $12 in the shop, and this doubles it to 30, which is $24, with some additional rewards that's really not that valuable to make it a limited time banner. This offer is horrendous. Basically, it's charging you the same as the pay-to-win shop, which is always bad in a gacha, making this deal a big no. It's not even a discount. I hope my examples were clear to understand and you see what I'm trying to educate here. This is not guaranteed to be in global, but I wanted to teach you guys how you can evaluate the worth and make sure you can make an educated decision if you want to spend your hard-earned money or not. Basically, always make sure to check the shop for prices and compare the store prices with the banners to see what they're trying to sell you, to make sure you're not buying something that's not worth it. Take your time and evaluate. But that is it for everything for day 1, everyone. What you should do, why you should do it, and how you should do it. I hope everything was clear and helpful. It might seem a little bit complicated, but trust me, it's going to be a walk in the park, and I really hope you will enjoy it. It's a really fun game. I'll be posting everything important I can with hints and tips as the game comes out, so stay tuned. Until then, take care, everyone.